That one.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on January 17th. Mr. Pinio, do we have a need for a non-public this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I do not, but I'm not sure if you guys do.
I do.
Yes, we do.
I
Under-
would say under A.
I would agree.
Under 91A.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
It would be employment.
So next on the agenda is consideration of minutes for December 20th. Linda?
Yeah, the first thing is on page 4, we're talking about the warrant articles, and we're going through the warrant articles. I think the warrant article presentation that was there at that time should be attached to these minutes. I'm finding there's sometimes we want to go back and look at stuff, and if we don't have the document,
Yep.
it's very hard for us.
Okay, so we'd like to have the presentation attached to it.
Yes.
PowerPoint. Yep.
And then on page 5, under Article 9, it says, Mrs. Murray, important to continue to add to this account, 319 grant for Russ Pond. It needs to change Beaver Dam that washed out.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, that's it for
That was
me.
it? Okay.
Page 9, the first reference for Deshays, we should change come to some. And in the second reference to Deshays, we need to scratch the two words "we do."
And I have one more, Brad. On page 9, Randy Tetrault's last name is spelled wrong. It should be Tetrault. It's right up on number 18th on page 9. On page 8,
Oh, page 8, okay.
spelled wrong, Tetrault.
Okay.
I got page 13 also. The first reference, Deshays, change then to them. And I'm good.
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I think you have an item to change on page 8. Midway down the page, it says, Mr. Harriman, do we own the historic fire truck? I believe that's supposed to be building, not truck. We don't own the truck, we own the actual building itself.
Okay, yep.
But weren't you asking about the truck?
When I reviewed the minutes, or the meeting, it was, he asked about the building.
He asked about the building. Okay.
Right, yeah, it was the building, yep. Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of December 20th as amended.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next are the minutes of December 28th. Linda?
Yeah, again, I think we should attach her list of encumbrances in 2024 revenue and the default budget to the minutes, so if we want to go back, we know what we were talking about that day, and that's the only thing I have.
Anything else? Motion?
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Linda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
One abstention.
Yep. I wasn't here.
Okay, next are the minutes for January 3rd.
I'll make a motion to accept them as written.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next are the minutes of January 9th.
I'll make a motion to accept them as written.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. We have a whole series of Public hearings tonight. First one, Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th at the Great Hall for the acceptance of unanticipated donation in an amount that is under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95-B, Roman numeral 3A, relative to donations received for last night Wolfeboro events in the amount of $6,842.69.
I could speak to that. We had a very good fundraising year. I want to thank Leone, McDonald and Roberts, Black's Paper Store, Windrifter, Taylor Community, Eastern Propane, Butternut, Front for Sellers, Lake Winnipesaukee Team, Avery's, Hunters, Pasquataway Landscaping, Goodhue Boat Company. We got $892 in cash. The Children's Center donated and paid for wildlife encounters. The Senior Centers donated the funds for John Heimlich. The Congregational Church let us use their space for free. Brewster let us use Estherbrook Hall for free. We got tickets from the Mount Washington, MS Mount Washington. We got tickets from the Boat Museum for the Millie B and membership. We got tickets for the Wolfeboro Trolley Company, and we got a membership from the Wright Museum, and I want to thank all those sponsors of this event.
Very good, thank you. This time I'll open up a public hearing. Anybody in the audience have any comments or questions on this? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Move to accept unanticipated donation in the amount that is under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95-B3A, relative to donations received for last night Wolfeboro events in the amount of $6,842.69.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
And one abstention. Okay. Next on the agenda is the, let's see, Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for the New England Chapter Antique and Classic Boat Society to host the 50th Lake Winnipesaukee Boat Show on July 27th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the town docks, including the parking lot, Kate Park, and the community bandstand. Permit number 2024-1. Do we have anybody here that's going to speak to that?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Selectmen. Bill Markison, here for the Antique and
Could
Classic
you pull the mic up,
Boat
please?
Society. Presenting this application for the 50th Lake Winnipesaukee Boat Show.
Okay.
This is the same show that we have run here in Wolfeboro for a number of years on this last Saturday in July. We don't anticipate doing anything differently than we've done in the past. For the most part, it's worked out well, I think, for the town, for the people that bring their boats to participate, and for the spectators.
Yep. Okay. I'll open up a public hearing now. If anybody in the audience has any questions or comments, close the public hearing. Board members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. It's just to inform them on your diagram in the back, the handicap parking space has been moved over one. So where you have handicap, we changed the parking lot so it's over one. So when you go down there, it'll be a moved one, just so you can plan for that. The other comment I have, and this is not just them, it's the way we set up this new form. I'm assuming that on July 27th at 6 a.m., you're going to want the parking lot closed?
That's correct.
Okay.
And as in the past, what we have done is identified the night before in the parking lot that it will be closing for the show that day. We put, notices up around the parking lot, in the interest of the parking lot, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And 95% it works. There's always one or two cars in there, and but for the most part, they get them out by the time we really need it.
Yep, okay.
So my only question is, Board, are we going to keep this consistent across all special event permits that use the dock area? Because I've been told, and last year, the Lake Winnipesaukee Day, EDC had to keep the parking lot open in the morning, and now I see 2 permits coming to the town docks that are allowing the dock to be closed from 6 to 3 and 6 to 4. So when Lake Winnipesaukee Day comes before you from the EDC, are we going to be consistent and have that parking lot closed for that event also?
I think it depends on the type of the event, because you guys use part of the parking lot to display boats in, right?
That's right,
Same
boats and
another one that
cars.
we see coming as a car show there also that utilizes the parking lot. So if I'm,
Well, the Lake Winnipesaukee Day EDC utilizes the parking lot for the laser light show, for the DJ, for vendors, for a lot of things.
Linda,
Yeah, I think the difference here, they're going to start using it at 6 a.m. They're going to be bringing things in. What happened with the Lake Winnipesaukee Day was it didn't start using the parking lot until later. And so the question is, and that's why I asked, what time do you want to close it? And he has issues with some cars, and how are we going to deal with that?
So if they-
Winnipesaukee, you need to close it at 3 or 2, whatever it is. Up until then, we need to find a way to keep the parking lot
Yeah,
open. That's my understanding.
Usually setup starts at 12 because the DJ needs to set up his staging, scaffolding, the laser light show and the whole bit. So whatever time the EDC deems necessary will be okay with the board?
hey,
I
yeah,
think
I'd say we
that's
deal
what
with
we're
that
doing.
when that application comes in and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Yep.
That's my understanding.
All right.
So, back to this one here. Any other questions or comments? Only thing I saw was, do we have a certificate of insurance? I didn't see it attached here.
So the insurance certificate comes out of the national headquarters, and it's typically generated 2 weeks before the event.
Okay,
And I gave Amy the contact information on that, and I will follow up with them to make sure that you have it. Now, part of what happens this early in the year is the insurance policy changes, renews in July or something like that. So that's why they don't tend to issue the certificate
yep,
now.
that's fine.
Yep.
As long as we get it by the time the show
Absolutely.
starts. Yep.
And one other thing is, and I know you know, that even though you're using that area, it's open to the public, the bandstand and everything else.
Right.
Any other questions or a motion?
Move to approve the New England Chapter Antique and Classic Boat Society to host the 50th Lake Winnipesaukee Boat Show on July 27, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the town docks, including the parking lot, Kate Park, and the community bandstand, contingent upon receiving insurance prior to the event and a lot closure plan with the Public Works at least 2 weeks prior to the event? It takes you two
Yes.
weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, because the suggestion was 3 weeks, but if you can't get your permit your insurance binder till 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks prior to the event, permit number 2024-1.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Luke. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next one on our agenda, Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th at the Town Hall to consider a temporary event permit for the New England Chapter Antique Classic Boat Society to host car and boat rendezvous on September 14th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the town docks, including the parking lot, Kate Park, and the community bandstand. Permit number 2024-2.
Me again. So, again, this particular event, we've held every other middle Saturday in September for quite a number of years. It's on the year that the raceboat regatta doesn't run. So it's the same weekend that we do the raceboat regatta, but on the opposite year.
Yep.
It involves a similar arrangement to what we do for the boat show in July, with some dock space that is reserved for participants and some dock space that's open for normal general public use. And then the lot is reserved for the use of the antique and classic cars coming in.
Yep. Okay, at this time, I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Board members, questions, comments?
So just the same thing on the insurance, with the parking lot closure. So, other than that,
Yes, sir.
For the insurance for that, it's the same chapter with the same 2 weeks in advance? Okay. So move to approve the New England Chapter Antique and Classic Boat Society to host a car and boat rendezvous on September 14th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the town docks, including the parking lot, Kate Park, and the community bandstand, contingent upon receiving the insurance binder and a parking lot closure plan with the Public Works Department 2 weeks prior to the event. Permit number 2024-2.
second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Our next public hearing, Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th to consider a temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club to host the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Tournament on September 5th through the 8th in 2024, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Foss Field, tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts, and pavilion. Permit number 2024-4.
Hello, I'm Joe Santoro from the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club. Brad, you skipped the first one. Are you planning to go back to that?
I
It would
did,
be
didn't I?
20-24-3.
Well, if you,
Okay, we just read this one, in, so why don't we do this, and then we'll go back, we'll do
Okay.
that one next.
Fine. This particular one is the 9th annual version. We expect upwards of 400 players for our 4-day event.
Okay. Open up the public hearing to anybody in the audience has any questions or comments? Close the public hearing. Board members?
I have a couple.
Yes, Linda.
One, it says parking lot closure, and I have no idea what parking lot, where he's wanting the closures. We're going to need that laid out. The other thing is Park and Rec does not want the baseball field used, that they can use the field to the other side, which is the soccer, because they're going to have it redone. And I have questions about the pavilion being totally for them. That is one of the areas that a lot of people use. I have no problem using it, but I don't want it to be exclusive to this. That is also the one place where there is public bathrooms.
To address the questions, we're asking for no special parking, just planning to use the existing parking that's there.
Okay, you checked closure. That's the only reason. Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
And with regard to the pavilion, we've been using it every year, and we do, of course, allow people to come in, use the bathrooms, use the water fountains, and so on. We just use it for registration.
So you set up in a portion of it, and
Yeah.
people can still come in, okay?
And we have a memo here for Park and Rec and questioning whether that this whole area is being used for 3 consecutive days, whether the board should charge a fee for the use of this area.
Well, no one has ever charged a fee before.
I know that, but it's coming up and asking that question of whether that, when somebody takes that much of public space, whether we should look at charging a fee for the day to use all that space. It grows every year and more the area, so there are 3 days that they can't use it. Are you going to set up so it's only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that people can't play, can't do basketball or can't play tennis?
That's right. Thursday is the day we set up the courts themselves,
So people can play all day Thursday tennis?
as long as they don't interfere with the setup.
Well, so you really need it part of Thursday, you really need it
Yes,
part
we-
of Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's right.
So now we're talking 3.5 days you need it for
And
at
this is
least.
consistent with the way we've been doing it.
I know it is.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just making sure we all understand, because there is a question about the amount of time that it's down for the use of the public, and that's what I'm trying to address here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what other board members feel. And that's coming from the
I think
parking
maybe
lot.
we should look at in the future, maybe adding a fee to events like this. I'd be open to that. I don't know if we need to do it for this particular one this year. I'd like to give, if we're going to do that, to give, an organization some time.
Can't hear you.
I said if we are going to do like a fee type thing, I'd like to give an organization some time to plan it out, and maybe, we could do that next year, especially if it's going to be taken up for a large period of time, which I do agree that it is, it is taking away the use for anybody else to use. So I would like to look at that.
Yeah.
As Pop Whalen has their rates for different events, times, and everything, I think this should fall on Parks and Rec. They should put a policy together if they want to, and not leave it for us to decide at the last minute on the 11th hour. I think it should be a Parks and Rec thing, and they should take that into consideration, and that if they want their areas to be a spot that they have to charge for, that should start with them, come to us, and then we put a policy together.
Yeah, I guess my just feeling is the note was there.
Yep.
It was given to us. You're going to use it from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 3 days, and that is the question that they're putting to us. And so I want to make sure everybody knows that. And I have no problem, but I wonder, I think there's something different between events that are going on for 3 days using it full-time than an event that takes up the day and then leaves.
How many years have you been doing the event?
9.
9? And has it always been this length of period of time?
The last 3 have been 4 days. The first 6 were 3 days.
Okay, so, again, coming in the 11th hour, I don't think he should have his knees taken out from underneath him, and I think that we should leave it to Parks and Rec and let Parks and Rec put a policy together.
I agree. I think, something we should look at, but, we can't do it at this stage for this year and stuff anyway. We'd have Christine prepare some kind of policy for us to look at and stuff like that, then Joe would know well in advance of preparing for the following year in case he needs to make adjustments or whatever, so. I
That
think
would
that's
be
the only
convenient, yes.
fair way to
know
do
in
it that way,
advance.
so,
Yeah, the budget was set before this meeting.
right,
Well,
yep.
I just think that is, she asked the question,
Yep.
and that gives us a direction to go here.
Yep.
And I have no
Yeah,
problem with
conversation,
that.
yep.
It's just that we need to deal with it. Do we have porta potties down there? Do you need
We
more?
rent them.
You take care of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You?
And did you have did mention that Christine mentioned they're going to be redoing the baseball field in the spring because of this, they don't want to have vendors on the baseball field.
We don't use the baseball field.
Okay, because you had it in there, I thought you had it in
I
there. You
did?
wanted,
Yeah.
Where?
On the diagram on the
Diagram right
next
here.
to last
And then-
page.
may
It
have
wasn't
mislabeled
intentional,
it.
that's just, we were just trying to plot out where the tents are going. The tents are going between the baseball fence and the tennis court fences.
okay, that.
And then
that's-
between the baseball fence and the backboards at the basketball court. We don't use the baseball field at all.
Yeah, Just
Okay.
next time, we'll
Sorry.
make clear.
Yeah,
That's-
okay, sounds good.
Okay?
Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a point of order. I know that you intend on having food, beverage, concession vendor sales. Is that going to be food trucks again?
Food trucks.
I think that this would require a sanitary facilities plan for trash and a food service plan accepted by the health officer, I would think. I know last year they came in late regarding that. I don't think it's anything that has to hold the permit up, but it should be contingent upon.
Yeah, you're correct, Jim. I think that the food trucks are actually, they have to meet health and human service guidelines. That's actually who monitors them in the state.
Yeah, the only thing I'm saying is a sanitary plan, because we did have some minor issues, not major, but we had some minor issues with trash over this last year's event.
Okay.
Okay. You could probably address that.
I'm sorry, oh, yes, we.
You can address that.
This is the first I've heard about these issues at all with regard to trash, because we make a point of cleaning up after ourselves every night.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've heard nothing about issues with trash.
All right. Anybody like to make a motion on this?
I'll move we approve the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club to host the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Tournament from September 5th through the 8th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at BoS Field, the tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts, and pavilion. Permit 20244.
Second.
Motion by Dave, seconded by Brian to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we'll jump back one, Joe.
It's okay.
Let's see, this is going to be number 3. Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club to host the Sadie Hawkins Day Pickleball Tournament on June 29th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the BoS Field, the tennis courts, pickleball courts, and pavilion, permit number 2024-3.
Again, it's the third annual event. It grew out of Wolfeboro Employees Day. Several years ago, we were asked to do something for the town and to have some players such as yourself and employees come, and now it's become an annual event. And this one seems to be most popular with the women, because they get a chance to sign up, and the computer picks their male partner. Normally in our tournaments, it's two-thirds men and one-third women. This one's just the reverse. The women sign up first. I think it's because they want an opportunity to play with somebody else other than a spouse or close friend. It's all a random draw.
Okay. I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody have any questions, comments in the public? We'll close the public hearing. I think probably just the same comment on the parking. You did check off for closure, but we understand that's just,
It was a new
your
form,
intent is
and I
just to be able to
wasn't sure,
park,
yeah.
everybody park there, so
Yeah, we may
that's all set.
need to look at how we word that.
Right.
Because we've had a number
Yeah,
do that.
that's
It's
confused me a
just-
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
It's a new form, so we're
Yes,
just
I know.
getting used to the
Get
new
get the
form.
bugs out. Any questions, comments?
Move to approve a temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club to host the Sadie Hawkins Day Pickleball Tournament on June 29, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the BoS Field, tennis courts, pickleball courts, and pavilion. Permit number 2024-3.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Luke to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, everyone.
All set. Thank you, Joe. Next temporary event permit. Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for Kate Park Band and Wolfeboro Parks and Recreation to host the concerts in the park on June 26th, July 3rd, July 4th, July 10th, July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, August 7th, August 14th, August 21st, and August 28th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Community Bandstand in the Kate Park. Permit number 2024-5. Have anybody here to present this one?
Looks like there's a letter in the back that says Gene Kemp won't be available, but Rich Neal could be if he was made aware of the date and time, so
I mean, this has been going on
Yeah.
for so
Yeah.
long.
It's pretty straightforward, yeah. I think everybody understands what it is. At this time, I'll open up a public hearing if anybody has any questions about this one. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Motion to approve permit for Cake Park Band and Wolfeboro Parks and Recreation to host the concerts in the park on June 26th, July 3rd, July 4th, July 10th, July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, August 7th, August 14th, August 21st, and August 28th from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Community Bandstand in Cape Park, permit number 2024-5.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Brian, to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
That was a hard one.
Next one, Wolfboro Board of Selectmen hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for the Wolfboro Garden Club to host the annual wreath sale from November 15th through the 24th of 2024, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Wolfboro Railroad Station, permit number 2024-6. Everybody here for this? It's the same thing, this is an annual
Yeah.
that we've done every year. So at this time, I'll open up a public hearing if anybody has any questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Move to approve the Wolfboro Garden Club to host the annual, do I have the right one? Yes. The annual wreath sale from November 15th through 24th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Wolfboro Railroad Station, permit number 2024-6. It threw me because wreaths.
I'll second that.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Linda. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the next one. Wolfboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for the Governor Wentworth Arts Council to host an outdoor concert series on June 21st, July 19th, and August 16th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Community Bandstand in Cape Park, permit number 2024-7.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Lorraine Drake, Treasurer of the Governor Wentworth Arts Council. We had this,
Just get a little closer to the mic, maybe?
yes, we had our first music series last summer, 3 concerts by local bands. We'd like to repeat it again this year.
Okay. This time I'll open up a public hearing. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
I'll move to issue a temporary event permit to the Governor Wentworth Arts Council to host an outdoor concert series on June 21st, July 19th, August 16th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Community Bandstand in Cape Park, permit 2024-7.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Next one. Wolfboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th, to consider a temporary event permit for the First Congregational Church of Wolfeboro to host Easter sunrise service on March 31st, 2024, from 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. at Albee Beach, weather permitting. Move to Mass Landing. Permit number 2024-8. Anybody here to present this one? Again, this is one we
Yeah,
see every year.
except I've never seen it or Mass Landing.
Yeah.
That kind of threw me. I'm not quite sure. And then it says weather and construction pending.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry
Your
somebody
Worship.
isn't here. I don't have any problem they've done this.
Right.
Construction is done, I think.
I'm,
Construction's done.
I'm just reading what they have on the permit.
Right.
Is that what they wrote in there?
Yeah.
Right up here, it says weather.
Okay, well, construction will be done well done by then. It's done now, but
Yep. That takes care of that.
I don't really see any advantage to moving to Mass Landing if it's bad weather. It's still
Okay,
outdoors.
I just say we do it. It's just,
Yeah.
we may ask Amy to get a little clarity on
Yeah.
what they mean there, but I have no problem.
So at this time, I'll open up a public hearing on this one. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
I'll move to issue a temporary event permit to the First Congregational Church of Wolfeboro to hold Easter sunrise service on March 31st, 2024, from 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. at Albee Beach, weather permitting. Move to Mass Landing, permit 2024-8.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. One more. The Wolfboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 17th at approximately 6:30 to consider a temporary event permit for the First Congregational Church of Wolfboro to host morning sunrise service on Sundays from May 26th to October 27th, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Permit number 2024-9. I think that was
At the gazebo.
supposed to be at the,
Bandstand.
Yeah, they are on the bandstand, and
Yeah,
then the
that's what I
people
thought.
sit down.
it got left off the description here. But yeah, so this is going to be at the
The
gazebo, yep, it says in their application here. So it's at the gazebo. Nobody's here to present this one. This is, again, an annual one they come in every year for. So I'll open up a public hearing for anybody who has any questions. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
By gazebo, they mean the bandstand, correct?
Let's
Correct.
just use the
Yeah.
bandstand.
Move to approve the First Congregational Church of Wolfboro to host morning sunrise services on Sundays from May 26 to October 27, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Town Docks Bandstand,
Second.
pending an insurance certificate. Permit number 2024-9.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Luke. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, next on our agenda is a bulk vote. We have, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 weekly manifests here. January 4th for $252,704. January 5th, okay, that was for 2023 expenses. On January 5th for $486,465 for 2024 expenses. On January 11th, $994,981 for 2023 expenses. And January 12th, 2024, for $1,995,107 for 2024 expenses, which also included a school payment. We have some property tax credits and exemptions, 2 abatements, 2 intent to cut permits, and that 1 application for current use.
I move to approve the bulk vote A through E.
I'll
Second.
Motion by Dave, seconded by Brian, to approve the bulk vote items A through E. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have no board committee appointments. Under new business, approval for hawkers and peddlers license for spots number 1 and 2. We have a application here from basically Hot Dog Bob for his 2 spots that he has annually down there. Has everything filled out, his food license, his certificates of insurance, and the check, I believe, is also, check is included for the rent for the year. Everything seems to be in order. Any board members have any questions, comments?
Move to issue spots number 1 and 2, hawkers and peddlers, for 2024 to Robert Dolinowitz. Hope I pronounced it correctly.
I'll second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Linda, to approve items, spots 1 and 2. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next on the agenda, approval for the Pop Whale and Abenaki Ski Area Scholarship Fund. We have
Good evening. My name is Jeff McGinnis. I'm with the Friends of Pop Whalen. I believe you have in your packet the proposal for the drafting of a scholarship fund to open accessibility for the programs at Pop Whalen and Abenaki to everyone in the community, regardless of their economic status.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the board on this one?
No, I just commend you for doing this for the children of the community. It's fantastic, and families. It's a fantastic opportunity. Second.
Motion by Dave, seconded by Brian to endorse the program here. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
And one abstention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Jeff, did you want to talk about that other item very briefly?
We'll do that on the 7th.
Thank you.
Okay.
I knew you talked to Amy today, but I wasn't sure where it landed. Thank you.
Okay. 2024 warrant articles.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, today we went through and we did our recording of the presentation of warrant articles to the voters. Hopefully that'll be out in the next couple of days for the citizens to get some backup information as to what some of the warrant articles are. I think the big thing that you need to take under consideration this evening is the petition warrant article regarding funding in the amount of $500,000 in the event that the operating budget fails for the purpose of funding current ambulance service. You have some information that we received late this afternoon. Short of that, I don't have a whole lot to say on the matter.
Shouldn't we read the warrant article so everybody in the public knows what we're talking about?
Yes. Let's see. I think it's written out the same way in this one I got here. Warrant article.
This is the way it has to be because that's the signed one.
Yeah, in this form here. Warrant article 911 ambulance municipal operations contract. This is submitted by petition to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of $500,000 without further action by town meeting for the purpose of a 911 ambulance municipal operations contract should the warrant article for the 2024 operating budget fail and the town enter into a default budget. This warrant article shall be null and void if the town passes the 2024 operating budget warrant that includes ambulance funding. And it's been verified by our town clerk with the signatures, so it's going to be on the warrant. So I guess what we need to do is,
I'll make a motion. You want a
sure,
motion?
yes.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend this petition warrant article.
Second.
A motion and a second to recommend this warrant article. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that's going to be recommended 5-0 to be on the warrant. And there's nothing else under the warrant articles this evening, was there, Mr. Pinio?
That's it, we are done.
Okay.
Bingo. The deliberative session.
Okay. Discussion on the 2023 over expenditure letter. We have drafted our official letter that's going to go out to public here on the issue that came up with the funding with the Pop Whalen and using our unanticipated fund balance for this. So I'm going to read this into the minutes here. This will be posted on our website. Is that right, Mr. Pinio?
That is correct. Once we get signatures this evening, it will be posted to the website, hopefully some point tomorrow.
Yep. And we're going to make it available to the press and stuff too, to be put in the paper and stuff. So I'll read this into the minutes here tonight. Wednesday, January 17th. The Board of Selectmen and Town Manager want to give a full explanation of the errors made by the town in using its unassigned fund balance. The 2023 warrant article 18 for town road upgrades stated to authorize funds in the amount of $850,000 from the town's unassigned fund balance. This is based on the 2021 annual audit that stated the unassigned fund balance had a $4,235,156. The 2022 warrant Article 11, Pop Whalen Ice Arena and Arts Center renovation and expansion project outlined the following financial path to secure $6,972,951 in funding. And it breaks out to amount to be bonded was $4,272,951, donated funds of $2,700,000, for total funds for the project of $6,972,951. Upon passage of the 2022 warrant Article 11, contracts were signed, purchase orders were issued, pricing was secured. Thus, all funds for the project in the amount of $6,972,951 were encumbered. The Board of Selectmen, during the same time frame, entered into an agreement with the Friends of Pop Whalen to pay the town at least $2.7 million in donated funds on July 31st, 2023. The acceptance of donated funds on July 31st, 2023 caused timing issues which required the town to utilize its unassigned fund balance to cover the $2.7 million in donated funds. As construction began in the spring of 2022, expenses for the project were paid out on a weekly basis to vendors. On December 31st, 2022, the 2022 fiscal year closed. The project was well underway, on budget, with $942,702 in funds encumbered as outlined below. However, the town had not yet received the Friends of Pop Whalen donation, which would be accounted for as a revenue in 2023. Project expenses through December 31st, 2022 are outlined below. Total appropriation, $6,972,951. 2022 expenses were $6,030,248, with a balance of funds remaining of $942,703. The last invoice associated with 2022 warrant Article 11, Pop Whalen Ice Arena and Arts Center renovation and expansion project, was received and paid on July 21st, 2023. Completing the project utilized the entire appropriation. On July 31st, 2023, the Friends of Pop Whalen donated $2,050,000 of its $2.7 million commitment. The Board of Selectmen authorized a one-year extension for the $650,000 balance. In October 2023, the town received its 2022 audit report, which showed the unassigned fund balance at the end of 2022 to be $302,237. The MS 535, a New Hampshire Department of Revenue form outlining voted as actual expenditures and estimated versus actual revenues, filed by the town, shown on page 6 that the revenue for 2022 Article 11 for the Pop Whalen Ice Arena and Arts Center was not received until 2023, even though the town included the $2,050,000 as received revenue. When the staff met with DRA to set the tax rate, the town was informed that DRA was disallowing the use of unassigned fund balance to cover the 2023 Article 18 for town road upgrades in the amount of $850,000 from the unassigned fund balance. The 2022 audit showed only $302,237 of unassigned fund balance to cover the town road upgrades. Therefore, the town had to make up $547,763 from the 2023 operating budget by reducing expenses and could not utilize any of the donated funds received in 2023. On November 22nd, 2023, the town manager imposed a spending freeze for the 2023 budget. The town manager, after meeting with staff, felt that there could be as much as $363,218 by freezing expenditure in the 2023 operating budget and $71,427 unspent funds from the 2023 warrant Article 18 to reduce the town's operating budget expenses. At the Board of Selectmen meeting on December 18th, 2023, the Board of Selectmen decided to file with the Department of Revenue Administration for an emergency expenditure and over expenditure under RSA 32:11. The board unanimously voted to sign and send the letter. At the Budget Committee meeting on December 18th, 2023, the Budget Committee discussed the letter to DRA and reviewed the financial information provided by the town manager. There was a motion to sign the letter to the DRA, which passed unanimously. On December 22nd, 2023, DRA approved the town's request to overexpend the bottom line of the 2023 operating budget by $175,000 using the electric department's unassigned fund balance, and the reason was the July 16th, 2023 rainstorm and the cost of the storm damages. Attached, you will find a document from the New Hampshire Municipal Association titled "Taking the Mystery Out of Fund Balance." To close, the town manager, in conjunction with the Board of Selectmen, made decisions which allowed the Pop Whalen project to be completed in a timely manner and on budget. Based on what we have learned over this process, the practice of utilizing unassigned fund balance for warrant article projects created a timing issue which may feel disingenuous to the voter and should have been identified prior to the 2022 audit report. In the future, the town will strive to utilize any unassigned fund balance for the purpose of setting the annual tax rate rather than for warrant article projects. And this letter will be signed by the board members and the town manager here. So we'll be signing that tonight, and it'll be posted up and available to the public. Okay. Next on the agenda is the House Bill 1479.
I think Brian may want to speak to
So,
this.
yeah, just, I assume that everybody's okay with the letter, because I asked for anybody to approach me last week to see if there was any changes they wanted to have made. And we can email this to, with the board's permission, we can email it to Jeb Bradley, John McDonald, Katie Peternell, Glenn Cordelli, and to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, if that's okay. It shows our support for our town employees and state organizations that support our teachers, police, fire, town clerk, all those associations, so that they have a right to protect themselves if they think that any group in the state is trying to take away their duties of their offices.
Yep. You feel we should read this into the minutes here, like we did the other letters here?
You want me to read it? Or?
Yeah. My mouth's pretty dry right now.
Okay. So it's addressed to the House Legislative Administration. Oh, we have to send it to them, too. Legislative Office, Building 301, Concord, New Hampshire, 03301, regards House Bill 1479 and efforts to limit towns' ability to budget for legislative advocacy. Dear Chairman Hill and members of the committee, to preserve local budget control, bring the best resources to our staff, and access valuable training and educational services, the town of Wolfeboro writes to strongly oppose any legislation intended to make it harder for towns and cities to budget for collective advocacy, like 2023's HB 51 and 2022's HB 1033. We are members of the New Hampshire Municipal Association, a voluntary nonprofit organization whose membership includes all 234 of the New Hampshire's 234 cities and towns. For us and all its members, New Hampshire Municipal Association is the source of information, assistance, legal counsel, and legislative advocacy on local government issues. Any legislation that creates an obstacle to using our discretion as a board to maintain our membership threatens not only our access to New Hampshire Municipal Association and similar entities, but also their very existence as a member-funded organization. There are three things to consider about how we use our local funds. First, as the only organization that provides us with legislative advocacy services, New Hampshire Municipal Association is a voluntary and member-based organization that relies on local funds. These funds are appropriated through legal, transparent, local budget process led by elected officials who sit in many boards and committees across New Hampshire. Taxpayers know where their money is going, and they are free to advocate against our membership if they would like. As a result of HB 1479 dilutes the authority of town voters as well. Second, New Hampshire Municipal Association is far from the only specialty advocate that would be threatened by this sort of law. Many officials and employees in our town and others are members of professional organizations that provide advocacy services, including but not limited to building officials, assessing officials, town and city clerks, planners, police officers, firefighters, public works employees, and school district officers. Third, these groups deliver valuable services outside their legislative advocacy. They provide training and educational opportunities, often with state partners, to ensure their members understand the law and best practices. Undermining their ability to exist would mean local officials would not receive explanations of the effects of legislation on themselves and their constituents, and must try to make public policy without all the information they need. New Hampshire Municipal Association was founded for local officials by local officials in 1941 with a recognition that a shared voice to state leaders was more efficient and more effective than local officials from 231 cities and towns attempting to follow all legislation affecting local government. HB 1479 threatens the core concept of local control, local voters making decisions about how local funds are spent. We therefore ask the committee to find any proposed legislation aiming to control how we spend our local budgets and pursue collective advocacy expedient to legislate. Sincerely, and we will sign it.
Okay. Board members, are we good with this letter being signed and sent along to the our representatives?
I think it's very important that we do send it.
Would somebody like to make a motion in that?
I'll make a motion that we send to all the people that Brian stated, along with the House legislation administration, our concerns about HB 1479 and how it affects local towns.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, we've got some pictures to choose from and a dedication for our town report that's coming up soon, so. Received our packets. I see 3 pictures here that we have. I don't know if you guys get a shot of that on, there's that one, and there's 2 other ones on the back here too. So people at home can see them. So we have a front cover, a back cover, and an inside we usually do, right? Is that
We do front and back.
front and back, nothing on the insides?
No,
Oh, just the outside covers?
the other two outside, as far as I remember. Outside. I didn't bring any.
I like this, and I've heard nothing but compliments about the lights that we picked out.
I like this one the best of it. This one was a little hard to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
The bottom one showing the new
Yeah,
light.
it really
that's-
shows it
that's-
better, is my feeling. This
I
one
do like
is,
that one.
this one looks like we're setting somebody on fire.
Yeah, the clouds.
Big old welder,
The
yeah.
only thing with this front one, which I like a lot, we have to make sure that we write big underneath it what it is.
I think so, too.
Because people will look at it and they'll go, what is that? Is that a fire and ice show, or is that
Yeah.
Could
Well,
be
they might
the,
confuse it
what a
with either
Pisaki.
IGA.
yeah, or is that it kind of looks like a sports court there, so it's like, oh, what are they doing? So,
Well, could get confused with the IGA project too, as we have 2
Yeah.
you know, major projects going up at the same time here.
And are we going to put this light post only, or could we take a picture of where we are today? So you have this one, which is kind of neat, and then do one that's further along on the back for the public safety, and then do the light.
You know, something just stupid came into my head. Do we wait on the public safety building till we get a picture of it so that we can see it and it's beautiful? I don't know. Because if we do this, then next year when we have a building that's beautiful and looks good, are we going to put it on the front cover again? Because it's going to be one of our premier buildings in the town, and I think it should be on the town report also when it's finished and it's really, really nice looking.
We put the town hall on when it was under construction, scaffolding up, and then we put it on.
Yeah.
Again after.
And we were talking about the IGA, the same kind of thing, and we've got a note from Amy, and I kind of agree. We could do the IGA finished and fire, and this year Charlie Hunter died. So that all kind of falls together in that. And I guess when I was saying put another one on the back, the public safety building is far further along than this.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that if we do
More
this,
current, yeah.
and do one going this way up here and then that.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pictures of the public safety building that we have
Yeah, I mean,
available. I would think I
Oh.
see them posted online
Mountains
quite a
of 'em.
bit, so we could get it updated, showing all the steel
that's,
framework that's up there now.
Well, and I also saw some of the wood, what are the things called?
roof trusses.
Trusses, that's what I'm saying. All right,
Yep.
starting to really take some form, and
Take
I
some
don't know
shape.
when she has to have the picture, but as late as we can.
Yep.
And Jim, unrelated, I thought about this the other day when I drove by. I thought they were going to put a light like this on the mount behind the EV chargers. There's actually a mount on the ground there with the wiring and everything, the conduits.
I'll check with Barry.
It might have just,
Did the rest of them get them in the parking lot?
I'm not sure. I'm not
Because
sure.
there was a bunch of were there any in the parking lot?
Didn't-
Didn't
The
look.
the only one that
Because
clicked
there
on
were a bunch of spots
Check
for
with
them.
Amy about timeline, too.
All right. And they might just not have got to him this year.
Well, it might not have been part of that contract.
Okay, so do we want to get some more updated pictures to look at too and stuff, and
Yeah.
find out from Amy when our deadline is
Yeah.
to get the decision and everything to her to get to the publisher? Okay,
I would,
all right. Okay. And dedication. We have a thing in here.
We don't have a list of them at all, do we?
I have a list that was just the one. We have a list for in memory.
I don't know what I did.
It's on the back.
You didn't get that?
No, I got it. Where is it in here?
It's on the back, part of
Yeah.
this one.
I don't know if you want to say the name or not yet, because I don't know if
No.
the family would know it, so if you want to be a surprise or,
I guess the question is, some of these are whether some of them are people who have just done a lot for the community, and others are who have served on town boards.
right.
So I guess we need to decide.
Can we dedicate it to a group of people?
Usually you'd only dedicate it to one, and then you have, like, in memory of, and that's when you can list other people that who are on boards and stuff like that, were involved in town.
We could also write dedicated to the memory of and just list all these that are recommended to us. I don't think it waters down anybody. I think that they're all incredible people that served our community.
Sometimes we take one or two who played a key role and write something on them and then put in memory of the others. That's kind of what I was trying to get at here.
Yeah.
We have dedicated a book to Shirley Gannon when she left.
Yeah.
As a
We have
selectman.
that, and we have both of those two are.
What do you think? That's what I'm trying to.
I don't remember. I mean, I thought you have, yeah, I don't, not in my lifetime, but you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, personally, I just kind of like the idea of picking the one out here, which kind of already have here on this gentleman, because he was huge in the
Yes.
conservation world here for us.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
And just a great,
yep,
person in town.
yep. I agree with you.
Yep,
And we haven't done anything for him.
right.
And you could do that, we could dedicate it to him and then list the others.
Yeah. And we could put a little blurb in about each one, or sometimes the family members who put something together for those things, a little one sentence, yeah.
Yep. I'm fine
Okay.
with that.
So approach it that way. So we'll
Yes, sir.
I'm
kinda
fine
keep-
with that.
Keep Amy up to date on that.
Yep.
Same thing, find out the dates she needs it by and get that to her. Okay, Libby trustees meeting.
I'll make a motion that we go into a library trustees meeting.
Libby trustees meeting.
Libby, yep. Library, Libby, whatever.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Luke to go into a Libby trustees meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
So Amy was working through some of the reporting that we have to do with the Attorney General's office. We have been doing the reporting right along. However, the museum didn't fit into a box, what they had identified with the charitable filings. So what they've ended up doing is they've put us into a similar category as a library, and our filings with the Attorney General's office are all up to date and are in good shape. With that said, as you're aware, our contractor that we were going to have work with us to do some work and make some recommendations for us at the Libby Museum is not able to help us out now. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get an RFP out for services to be able to help us out. In the meantime, we received a letter from the Attorney General's office. If you recall, we met with Ms. Quinlan, and she would like to schedule a time to meet with the trustees to discuss the path forward and what we anticipate doing. So that's kind of where this is at. I'm not sure what direction the board would like to take this.
I kind of think we should probably, set up a meeting date with Ms. Quinlan here to keep them up to date with what we've tried to do, what we're thinking of doing, kind of go from there. She sent this to us right before Christmas, wanted to meet within a few weeks. I don't know if the end of,
I think they would be understanding to get us through deliberative session and meet sometime after deliberative session. I'll see what I can come up with.
I am going to be away from February 7th through the 17th.
so maybe more towards the end of the month would be better
Yep.
for you
Yep.
in February.
Yep.
And you were going somewhere too, Luke?
In March, yeah.
In March.
I had a question, Jim. I don't know what the rest of the, we're going to put out a request for proposals for another company to come in basically and give us a breakdown of how we should be tackling the Libby
Correct.
going forward. Is there any reason why we wouldn't contact either the last two reports to see if they would do an action item list like Alba or was there that was in between my years as selectman, so I didn't know if things kind of.
Yeah, I think the hard part of that is you have architectural plans, and those architectural plans don't necessarily meet the actual construction documents that we would need to be able to achieve something. So I think we really need to have somebody who's more in the construction trade and building services to say, here are the priority items that you guys should tackle. We've received a scope of work for that from Quantum for the Clark House for this year. I think we can find some services to be able to do this type of work based on the documents that have been provided. And then, of course, there's a difference based on the proposed addition, which is no longer really in play.
We had a company that came in and put new tie rods, and they had a list of other things that we were.
Meridian.
Well, who was it?
Meridian.
Meridian.
They've already been in. I'd be interested in see if they would be able to do it. And we had some projects right there that we could look at. One was to just cover the ground underneath the museum with some kind of a tarp. I'm sure it's not a tarp, but there was
Yep.
some kind of.
It was a vapor barrier.
We could do that without spending a whole lot of money, and we've moved forward on something, and we have a report that says that we should do it. So I'd be interested in going back. They've already been in. They know and I don't know who did the construction for the tie rods, but they were done.
I believe it was Meridian. I have that document.
And kind of go from there, than to have somebody have to come back in and get themselves
Back to the meeting with the charitable trust. I will not be available February 9th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, or February 22 and 23. The rest of February, I'm clear.
Okay, so after the 23rd.
Maybe sometime that last week of February, we can find a date.
Yep.
Okay.
Taking out that night today.
Keep in mind, too, we have that original report that Bergeron Technical Services did for us
Yep.
5, 6, 7 years ago now, which is a good baseline to work off of. A lot of information in that for whoever we, bring in to, so they're not starting, starting fresh on it, so. Okay.
Now that we've got the budget behind us, I can dedicate some time to doing that.
All right. Okay, do we have any other business this evening?
Well, wait. let me
come out of
still-
Libby.
You got to come out
I
of the
still got a
meeting.
question about the Libby.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Are we going to prepare anything to, is she going to, we want to write a letter to her and get some kind of idea what she's looking for us? Is she looking for, she's asking to talk to us, what is she?
Yeah, maybe she
wanna
can
talk to us?
send, good idea, Linda, maybe she could send us an agenda.
Yeah, where she's going with it.
Yeah, a simple agenda from her would be great.
Yep.
I can ask that. And again, I'll try to shoot for February 26th through March 1st.
Okay.
February 26th, okay.
Anything else while we're in the Libby's trustees? Anything, Luke, you want to bring up, or has come up? Good?
We're good, yeah, I mean, I just wanted something to report back.
Yep,
And I think I have some information now, so I think we're good.
okay.
Thank you.
So I'd entertain a motion to come out of the Libby trustees.
So move.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Dave, seconded by Linda to come out of the Libby trustees meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, now we're back into our regular board meeting. Any other business this evening?
Yeah, I have a couple other businesses. First one is I'd like to talk about the Pop Whalen Ice Arena and the fact that we need to make, and Art Center, we need to make that enterprise profitable, and we know that one of the ways we can do that is we need to rent more time there, ice time, and then the time once the Pop Whalen ices out and we have a surface. And I think we should keep a better eye on it, and I would like us to get monthly or every 2 months the number of hours that have been rented and what we're looking for to start filling in some of those other times. And I'm particularly concerned about spring. One of the things we did last year is we didn't start going after users until the ice was out. Now we need to start doing that and get that up, and I'd like us to have report back on who we've gotten and what we have tried. One of the things that the Friends of Pop had talked about is they have rooms off to the side, and to promote somebody coming, running a birthday party, renting the room, and then the kids would skate during free skating. And I think all those things need to be started to be advertised in order to start bringing the number of people in. I went to the Bruins and Old Timers game, and the place was filled. It just felt so great, all generations, and that's what we need that facility to start doing. And I think to show the voters that we're serious about that, we should have those reports to us. I'd like it for a while every month, be out, so we have an idea and a handle on how it's going.
Yeah, I agree. I think to start with every month, I think would be good because, it doesn't take long for a season to go by. Then we're into the next season. So if we go 2 months, we might, only meet once or twice during that portion of the season and into the next one and not know. So I agree. I think every month would be good to start with. And if we see things going well, we could always, bump it off to every other month or something. But to start out with, I would be agreeable to every month.
Yeah. I mentioned it before, a dozen years ago, I went to rent 2 hours of ice to have a birthday party with my family and my sister and brother, nieces and nephews and everything. We were going to have a family hockey game, and Ethan Hipple was there at the time, and he pushed back and said, "You can't do that. A private person can't rent the rink." And I had to bring my homeowner's insurance and a whole bunch of stuff and show that my binder covered it and whatnot. And he ended up saying, "Oh, yeah, okay." And we had a fantastic pizza party, cake and ice cream, 2 hours of monkey hockey, I call it. And it was great. We had people skating from 68 years old down to 4 years old. And it was a lot of fun. And that's what that facility can be used for.
Yep.
In the summer, if we had some kind of sport court out there too, kids could rent it, families could rent it for parties to do, soccer games or whatever they want on
Exactly. That's what we have to do. We just have to keep on thinking and expanding, and the more hours we can rent, that is how we're going to get that facility to pay for itself.
And we got to facilitate using our current employees there to be the ones to knock on doors, make phone calls, and find avenues to advertise the facility as available to whoever can use it in a fun, entertaining way.
Yep, that's what we're looking at and trying to get it as, so I'd like to see that added and see where we're going.
Facilitate getting the
Yep.
person there to meet with us.
Yep. I have one other.
Yep.
I brought it up to the EDC on Tuesday that Families in Transition or Hope House has shut down the shelter. I reached out to Maria Devlin, who is one of the heads of the association, and talked to her and tried to find out whether there was anything that we as a town could do to keep that kind of a program going. I can't think of a better place for some low-income housing. I think they have some issues. They have a lot of debt, and I just would like the town to do what it can to reach out and see if there's any way that we can help make that program stay, or whether we can help work to have that put into some kind of short-term, not short-term, low-income housing, not become short-term rentals.
Right.
I just think it filled a need in this community, and we have a need for low-income housing. So I was trying to see if I could get her to go to the planning board for just a general consultation to see what was there. What she did tell me was the upstairs, the rooms, you have a room and a bathroom, and that was somebody's apartment, and there is a communal kitchen and living room. The second floor is a daycare, and the bottom floor is set up for a dentist office. So that's what's in there now. So it's something I would like us as a board to see if we can help it all with.
Okay. Any other business here? Before we go on to the other reports and stuff, Steve, were you here? Do you have something you wanted to talk to us about tonight, or? Okay. Didn't get enough of us earlier, did you? Okay. We'll go on to committee reports. We'll start down here with Dave tonight.
I had one meeting with the Conservation Commission, and a lot of hours with all of us together at different meetings.
Yep. I had a, let's see, where am I here? This morning, we had a Wolfboro Community TV meeting. Went over some things there. Last night, we had a planning board meeting. It was very interesting, and I think it was this Monday, the last Monday, we had Wolfboro Waters meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yep, at that meeting. And I'm trying to think if we had any other
I know, I did
intermittent meetings. Probably, I'm sure we did, so.
Well, we all spent today taping the warrant
That's
articles.
right, yep. And that was it for me. Linda?
Okay, I'm just trying, all of a sudden, trying to put this together. I had a Wolfeboro Waters Committee meeting. I had the Wolfeboro Waters Assessing Subcommittee meeting. I had an EDC meeting, and then I had a last night Wolfeboro meeting.
Luke?
And we had a chamber monthly meeting, too.
Oh, I did. Yep, you're right.
Linda, we had 2 budget meetings, too.
In that period of time, did we?
Yeah, I think we had 2 in that period of time. And I had an EDC, and
As
we
I
had
said,
the
I
taping.
didn't- I
and
didn't write it down.
And I have 5 more in the next 3 days, so I'm cooked.
Okay, town managers report.
Well, the good news, Brian, tomorrow night, hopefully that budget committee meeting will be very short. So they've got a couple
We'll
items to take up and then they'll be
We'll
done.
see.
So that's at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Short of that, the only other thing I got to report out is I did receive some correspondence from a concerned citizen regarding the town hall parking lot, and specifically on nights of meetings, some highly populated meetings, that it's difficult to find parking when we get into the summer season because it's a community parking lot and the general public is parking there, and it makes it challenging for people to be able to attend the meetings that are going on in this hall. And I don't know what we can really do at this point. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that I did receive correspondence about it. And I do think it's a legitimate concern. Short of that, hopefully in the next couple days, the warrant article taping will be up for people to review. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Questions from the press? Do we have Alyssa with us?
She is on.
Yes, yes. I have no questions, Brad. Thank you.
Oh, I thought she said she has a question. Okay, thank you, Alyssa.
Yep.
Public input. Public input.
I'm a little disappointed in your selection for the town cover, and I know the public really has no purview or say on it, but I think it could have been a better choice. Picking a commercial building is headed down a slippery slope. The owner isn't even a resident of Wolfeboro. I find it sort of taking a position of being partial. I think what might have been a better choice, and there's several choices, but what it might have been a better choice, I forget just what you called it, but that Winnipesaukee Day that we had, that was the first, right?
Yeah, so last year we did have the Winnipesaukee Day on our front cover, and we're not looking at hunters for this year. We're looking at the public safety building for this year for the cover.
Yeah.
You're saying what?
We're looking for the public safety building to be on the cover this year.
This is the
Oh,
public
I
safety
thought
building.
you had the hunters.
No, not hunters. Public safety building for this year. And we did the Winnipesaukee Day last year was on the cover, I
Okay.
believe.
All right.
Yes,
Okay,
I was gonna do
that's
it
good.
yourself.
I stand corrected. I misheard you.
Yeah.
No wonder Jim was looking at me with a puzzled face. What the heck is she talking about?
Thanks, Suzanne. Any other public input?
I thought I had.
Bobby? Nobody?
I'll make a motion, we go into non-public session.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Luke, going to non-public. All those in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.